Priests for Life. Saving lives for over 30 years.
Frank Pavone was born in Port Chester, New York, and was ordained a Catholic priest by one of his pro-life heroes, New York Cardinal John O'Connor. Now an internationally known pro-life teacher, Pavone took over a fledgling organization called Priests for Life in 1993, and it's now one of the largest, most influential pro-life ministries in the world. For 30 years, he's traveled the country preaching, teaching, and activating Americans to stand up for life. He's a firm believer in the value of forging relationships and had close friendships with many abortion advocates, including Dr. Bernard Nathanson, an architect of the movement to legalize abortion, and Norma McCorvey, the Jane Roe of Roe v. Wade. Both of them became passionately pro-life. In the final days of 2022, the church decided to take his priesthood away over his political activism, but Pavone remains faithful to his vows and his commitment to life.
Priests for Life. Saving lives for over 30 years.
In a world gone crazy, where right is wrong and wrong is right.
My name's Kitty. I'm an abortion provider, and my work saves lives.
People are searching for the truth. It seems America has lost her way. Is it too late for this great country to get back to one nation under God? In the midst of this chaos, Patriot Mobile stands strong, supporting the people and the causes you care about.
We support giving women housing, education, meals. We support reaching out to universities and talking to young ladies and letting them know they're not alone when they're faced with an unexpected crisis pregnancy, that they have support for their education and for their work. And if whether they want to keep the baby or adopt it out with the most loving option, there's support in both of those. And we call that the pro-love movement. And that's something conservatives have been doing for a long time.
Pro-life, that just comes from our biblical standpoint and how, as Christians, life was preordained, right? We don't have a choice, or we shouldn't have a choice as to who lives or not.
It's a pro-love movement, grounded in truth and conviction, deeply compassionate and caring for both mom and baby. And we're here to provide a hand up to those standing for life, no matter the cost.
Patriot Mobile is so committed to life that we made it one of our 4 pillars. And to date, we've given over $1 million to support pro-life and pro-love organizations.
Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. Join today and know that by simply using your cell phone, you're defending the rights of the unborn. Visit patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT today.
Freedom must be fought for and passed on to the next generation. But today, radical leftists threaten to extinguish America's greatness. Who will stand and fight? Since 1979, Leadership Institute has identified, trained, and placed conservative leaders for America, in public policy, politics, the media, government, and beyond. Leadership Institute equips conservatives of all walks of life to run for office and defeat leftists at the ballot box, from state capitals to school boards, all the way to Washington. Many conservative leaders in Congress got their start at a Leadership Institute training.
I was in a Leadership Institute class that came to Naples, Florida. So I've been where you are.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Help Leadership Institute raise leaders for America to stop the radical left. Join us today.
Now more than ever, pro-abortion activists, officials, and legislators are bent on pushing pro-life voices out of the public square and out of America's healthcare system. They think this is their moment. It's not. For over 25 years, Alliance Defending Freedom has been a champion of the pro-life cause. We've defended hundreds of doctors, pregnancy centers, sidewalk counselors, and other pro-life heroes from government overreach and coercion, both here in America and around the world. We're ready to defend you too. Many medical professionals live in fear that they will be harassed or banished for their pro-life stand. ADF is there for them. By God's grace, we have won nearly 80% of our cases, including many precedent-setting wins at the U.S. Supreme Court. As attorneys, we protect those who protect life. We don't view any case as too small because no life is too small, and we represent our clients free of charge. We believe that life will triumph in the end, and we're here to support our fellow advocates for life in whatever battles they face. To find support for your work or to support our alliance, go to adflegal.org.
The Heritage Foundation is the most impactful conservative policy organization in the country. Every semester, our interns are a vital part of that mission.
5 years ago, I was a Heritage intern. Today, I work with our lawmakers on Capitol Hill to fight against radical leftism and for what real Americans care about.
We want the best and the brightest, which means we pay competitively, we develop talent, and give our interns access to some of the sharpest political minds in the country.
Interning at Heritage really gave me the foundation to go out into the world, go out into the media, to tell stories that really matter.
Former Heritage interns are currently working for the organizations, lawmakers, and campaigns fighting for America. They're shaping conservative thought, championing family values, and forging policy for America at the highest levels of government.
The conservative principles and values that were instilled in me at the Heritage Foundation have really carried me through my career today. It was my conservative home in Washington, D.C., and it still is. It could be an outpost for you.
If you're looking for your way to get into the fight for America, this is it.
We are going on offense. Join us.
Welcome to the pro-life generation, where purpose meets persistence, and together, we know we will prevail. Abolishing abortion is an extraordinary mission, which will take an extraordinary amount of people to accomplish. Will you join our life-saving work? Students for Life of America is the heartbeat of our movement. We recruit, train, and mobilize pro-life students across the United States to change minds about abortion by those most targeted by the abortion industry and transform their campuses so no mother ever feels she must choose between her child and her education. If you are a pro-life student looking to get involved, don't wait any longer. Your voice matters. We can help you start a group on campus and then equip you with free trainings, displays, and even pro-life speakers to educate your campus. And when you're ready, you can also take your pro-life leadership a step further and apply to our National Leaders Collective, consisting of 9 different year-long pro-life fellowships.
Students for Life Action trains and mobilizes pro-life leaders to impact public policy and influence key elections. If you want to save lives by passing laws, Students for Life Action is the place for you. With a few simple steps, you can easily become a state captain and lead others in your state. Lobby for pro-life laws and hold elected officials accountable. Host a political leadership workshop training. Or ensure pro-life leaders win in the 2024 elections by encouraging your peers and neighbors to vote pro-life first.
Did you know that pro-life activists of all ages can sign up to lead a local campaign in their city, uniting pro-life efforts to end abortion in their community by highlighting existing nonviolent solutions for women and children? If you're a recent grad, longtime pro-life activist, or looking to put your faith into action, start, join, or partner with Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities. Did you know that nearly 75% of our neighbors don't know that the pro-life movement supports alternatives to abortion in our cities? And when mothers find out about alternatives to abortion, they are more likely to choose life. We can even help you defeat pro-abortion ballot referendums in your state this year.
Standing With You is here to help mothers and fathers choose life and become successful parents. Our national database showcases life-affirming resources in every state. If you are a student, pregnancy resource employee, or a pro-life advocate looking for a place to send an abortion-seeking mother, you found the right place. Not only is Standing With You a national database with more than 4,000 resources for pregnant and parenting families, but we can also help Students for Life groups create a campus resource guide for college campuses.
The Dimitri Institute for Pro-Life Advancement conducts research and crafts messaging and strategies to end the violence of abortion. If you are seeking resources to assist you in changing minds about abortion or fighting on new abortion battlefields like chemical abortion or Christian schools promoting Planned Parenthood, check out our IPA research reports on Planned Parenthood locations, nearby college campuses, pro-choice men and women's views on abortion, where Gen Z and Gen Y voters stand on the life issue, and using environmental law to stop chemical abortion.
Together, you, me, us. We are the pro-life generation, and we will abolish abortion. Join us today at prolifegen.org.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the 2024 National Pro-Life Summit in Washington, D.C. Let's give an applause for being warm this morning. Thank you all for being here. I know that it took a lot for us all to get here, and it is so amazing to be in a room this morning together and to see so much life in this room. It is a round of applause for life. My name is Allison Howard Senafonte, and I will be your MC for the program today. I have had the honor and privilege of working for groups like Live Action, Alliance Defending Freedom, Concerned Women for America. I've worked with Students for Life, tons of great groups in here, and it has been the best time fighting for women and children and families. And I just have to say that as a mom, standing up here with 22-week-old baby girl, she can hear you. She can hear you this morning. And so it's so powerful to think that you guys are the ones that are fighting for her right to be protected in life and in law and in society. Thank you. Thank you for working to make abortion unthinkable. When we are old and gray, guys, I want to be like 90 and hang out with you and say, we did it. We made abortion end. I want our grandchildren to look back and go, did that really happen in the world? Was abortion a real thing? And we go, yeah. And you know what we did? We did everything we could to shut it down. You are, seriously guys, this generation's truth tellers. There is no one more committed to the truth than you guys. Now, some of you I know, and some of you I don't. But I know that this year, this crazy year, after Roe v. Wade is overturned, you did the work of telling the truth in the face of lies, didn't you? And you must stay committed to that because we are up against a great enemy that lies all the time. That is their marketing scheme. And look, if you weren't here, if our thousands of pregnancy resource centers weren't here doing the work, taking care of women and children and telling the truth, who's gonna do it? Is the other side gonna do it? Does Planned Parenthood and their abortion groups ever take care of women like me? No. Will they let you see your ultrasound unless you're gonna get an abortion? Do people like me, pregnant, walk in and they see money? Yeah. So don't ever quit. Your job today at this summit is to think about the one. You're one person. And I know you probably had the same thought that I did as I dealt with flight delays to get here and weather and the cold. And you think, I'm just one person. What does it matter? What does it matter if I go? And I thought about that. It matters because it's not one of us who is going to end abortion. It wasn't one person that got Roe v. Wade overturned after it was set in law and we were told, it's the law of the land, move on. It was thousands of small acts of individual people that changed history, and we got to see it. It's one lawyer writing a brief that gets to the Supreme Court. It's one sidewalk advocate praying with a woman, saying, I'm here for you. It's one adoptive family. It's one foster care parent. It's one person praying every day at their dinner table in front of their children, which I do, and I encourage you to do. And we just say, dear Lord, thank you for this food. Thank you for today. I pray for the world. I pray for an end to abortion, and help us be a part of that. all of those thousands of acts will save lives. And then one day, we'll meet the one, whether here, maybe in heaven, the one person who you saved through your work. Maybe in your family, maybe because you posted on social media every once in a while, hey, if you find yourself in an unplanned pregnancy, talk to me. I'm here for you. Something that small, I've seen it and I've experienced it. You might post, no one responds, but in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, someone drops into your DMs and says, can I talk to you? And you're the one they went to because they know what I know. You are the most loving, non-judgmental, compassionate, resourced people in your community. Guys, we know things in the movement that others don't know. We know about things like Standing With You that get women legal care. We know about pregnancy resource centers. Not everyone does. So you're the one, and I just want to empower you. You're here for the one, and today, I want you to think about that one question you have that you're like, I hope no one ever asks me this. This is the tough one. I had that question. When I started in the pro-life movement, I thought, well, I'm very pro-life, but the whole rape, the exceptions, life of the mother, that really got me stuck. Does anybody else felt like, oh gosh, when you see those stories, you're like, what's going on? That's okay. You're here to get your answers because we have the answers on our side. We have truth. We have love. Abortion is not this nuanced, complicated thing. It's wrong. It kills an innocent child. And any mom in a high-risk pregnancy that threatens, her life, we can take care of them both and love them both. And you get that. So maybe that's your question today. I want you to listen. I want you to go to the booths. I want you to sign up for the emails, get the merch, feel inspired by the work that's happening here so you're ready for the 1 year ahead until we meet back here next year. And I can't wait to see the progress. It is my honor to introduce our first guest to you. We have an amazing lineup this morning, and we're going to kick off this morning's general session with a leader you all know and love, someone who has had a hand in both shaping and growing the pro-life movement of the United States. Kristen Hawkins is the president of Students for Life of America and Students for Life Action. She is a strong leader, the mastermind behind making sure you have what you need to serve at every single season of life. She has created a country now with ground game in every single state of our nation. Please join me in welcoming Kristen Hawkins.
Go. Ready? Because it's iconic, and I love to do iconic things. Good morning. Want to take a picture? We gotta get everyone in a photo. Let's get you all in a photo before I talk. Your lens is on.
I've done this before, I swear.
Right. All right, just come on, Kevin. All right, you all needed to be in that photo. I don't like all the photos of me. Hey, Pro-Life Jen. How does it feel to know that you, this generation, will be the ones to end the violence of abortion, empowering mamas, saving babies from the pain and exploitation of the abortion industry? How does that feel? It's pretty damn awesome. This morning, I'm so deeply honored to be standing beside you, watching you change minds about abortion, serve mothers, save babies, pressure our elected officials, Democrats and the bad Republicans, transform your campuses and your communities. It continues to be the greatest honor of my life after becoming a mother. Your conviction, your stories that you share with me, and yes, your social media posts, did you see me doing a TikTok just there, about the victories you have achieved this year, they constantly remind me that God has a plan for every one of us, and it's far greater than we can even imagine. You know, growing up, I only met my paternal grandfather once when I was 4 or 5. I remember I kept a little sticker of the cat in Alice in Wonderland that he sent me one year for a birthday card in my special little chest as a child. A couple years ago, that man died. There wasn't a funeral held to honor his life, which left so many scars on my father. But I remember thinking at the time how odd that despite the bad things that man had done in his life, good would prevail with his last name, Mercer. As I would carry it on in my life and the lives of my children and his great-grandchildren that he never knew their names or even met. But I didn't even expect the additional bonus plans that God had made. You see, yesterday evening, while I was trying to make a quick exit to my hotel room after a cold and long day, you might know something about that, a beautiful young girl came running towards me. And I thought she likely just wanted to say hello or grab a quick picture for the gram. But no, Rebecca had something she had to say to me and someone to show to me. You see, Rebecca came to Washington to thank me for the videos she's seen of you all hosting me on your campuses. You know, those ones where you'll let me come to campus and stir up trouble and maybe I buy you some Chick-fil-A. Yeah. And then you share them and make them viral. Because of those videos that you share, because of those videos you make viral of this super uncool mom of 4, you helped this woman who is homeless and desperate courageously choose life for her son. And she named him Mercer. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm from West Virginia, so I'm pretty sure I can't trace my lineage back to some king or some castle lord in the old world. And growing up, I always, as I said, it felt weird to carry this last name from this guy who had hurt and abandoned my father and his mother. But last night, that was a sweet name to hear, Mercer, for Rebecca's little baby boy. Because of you, baby Mercer just turned 1. And my grandfather, a broken man who created my dad, a great man, who then created me with a little help from my mom, now has a legacy that goes further than me and my sister and our children, but now extends further down the South to Alabama, to baby Mercer, and the good he will do in our world. Men and women, I share this with you today because I want you to think right now, right here, about the legacy you and this pro-life generation will leave on this earth. For I believe each one of us is destined to do something. In fact, I believe we're all destined to do so many things great. And I can't think of anything greater than saving millions of baby boys and baby girls and sparing millions of mothers from the violence of abortion. That is why, you can clap, it's fine. Ending abortion, it's clapping. That is why today, this is your moment at the National Prolife Summit. And it's critical for you and critical for us as we move forward to achieve the pro-life movement's ultimate goal, equal rights for all, born and preborn. Today, you get to choose to do the great thing and join us to make abortion unthinkable and unavailable, and make abolishing abortion your family legacy. Now I'm going to be real with you, as you know I always am. Ending the violence of abortion will not be easy. There will be obstacles in our way, and I promise you they're going to be more difficult to overcome to get into Washington, D.C. in 5 to 8 inches of snow on crappy old buses. We've seen these obstacles this year in real life, in Ohio, in Kentucky, and on our campuses. The well-funded, regressive 1970s resistance who mobilized after becoming enraged after Roe's reversal, and who have sadly, so sadly have fallen for the lies of the predatory abortion industry led by Planned Parenthood. And unfortunately, this really hasn't been unexpected. For the British didn't lay down their firearms and return to England after General Washington crossed the Delaware and surprised them in Trenton that night. American soldiers on both sides of the Civil War didn't return back to their farms and their divided families after Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. The Third Reich didn't end their reign of evil after the British rescued 338,000 Allied soldiers on the beaches of Dunkirk, France. No. In every struggle between good and evil, we know the enemy's outrage can be wielded as a powerful weapon. However, the key to victory always lies in those who persist. And that's what those on the other side just don't understand about us, that we will never go away. In the 50 years that we lived under the tyranny of Roe, and the many, trust me, many setbacks that we faced during those 5 decades, our movement grew only larger and stronger and more successful. We're like the Continental Army, who challenged the greatest army on earth without the resources and never relented. The strategy of General Nathanael Greene, who was there that night with Washington when they crossed the Delaware. He said his strategy was this: we fight, get beat, rise, and we fight again. And it worked until the enemy was out of supplies in Yorktown and surrounded. And now, here in 2024, in this post-Roe era, we resolve to do the same. We will fight, and yes, sometimes we will get beat, but we will rise and we will fight again until we accomplish the great thing of abolishing abortion in our lifetime. That's why today I'm honored to announce to you that our teams at Students for Life of America, Students for Life Action, the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities, Standing With You, the Dimitri Institute for Pro-Life Advancement, No, I Don't Sleep, have organized under one banner, the pro-life generation. Together, we will grow even larger and louder, with Students for Life continuing to serve and train you so that you can change the minds of your peers and save babies. With Standing With You, we will continue to help you change policies on your campus so no woman ever again feels like she has to choose abortion. With Students for Life Action, we will hold our elected leaders, Republicans and Democrats, accountable to their constituents and do the hard thing, not the easy things, to end the violence of abortion. With the Institute for Pro-Life Advancement, we will expand the efforts to halt chemical abortions, the leading cause of infant death in America, by fighting our state capitals, here on Capitol Hill, every computer, on every campus, in front of every CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid. With the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities, we will mobilize graduated Students for Life alumni and pro-lifers of all ages. We don't discriminate here in the pro-life movement, that's them. We go door to door, educating our neighbors, promoting pregnancy resource centers, and teaching our movement how to defend against radical pro-abortion ballot referendums. You are a student for life for maybe 8 years. If I'm lucky, I get you for that long. But you will be part of the pro-life generation forever. So today I want you to join me create your legacy, and do the great thing. Right now, go to prolifegen.org and pursue your purpose in the pro-life movement. Then, use all your time today at the National Prolife Summit wisely, learning everything you can by the team of experts we've assembled for you. And tonight, when you leave here and get back on that bus, I'm sorry about that, commit to always persisting. Always. For them. For Rebecca and baby Mercer. And I promise you, we will prevail. Be not afraid of the obstacles that will stand in our way, for we were born to fight and finally achieve equal rights for all. For we are the pro-life generation. Thank you. Thank you. Normally I do a grand walk-off off the stage, but I'm not doing that today because today I have the honor of introducing our next guest who needs literally no introduction. He told me not to introduce him, I'm going to do it anyway. He's a dear friend of mine with a long and distinguished career in public service. And wherever he and his wife, Karen, have served, his passion for mothers and their children, born and preborn, has always been number one. This man has never wavered in his support. He's always been innovative in finding policy solutions to solve the violence of abortion. Whether serving in the U.S. House or as governor of Indiana, or even as vice president of the United States. Working alongside Donald J. Trump, the Trump-Pence administration was proudly pro-life, and they ensured Roe versus Wade was sent to the ash heap of history. But above all, his most important accomplishment, I would say, is building a loving family. He's been married to his incredible wife, Karen, for more than 40 years. A truly remarkable achievement. He is blessed with 3 amazing children, along with 3 beautiful granddaughters. He is my friend, and he is a stalwart pro-life champion. Ladies and gentlemen of the pro-life generation, please give it up and welcome our friend, the 48th Vice President of the United States of America, Mike Pence. How was that?
Great remarks.
Have your mic. Good.
Thank you.
All right. Now, they only gave us 15 minutes, Mr. Vice President. And I had like 20 questions, so I've narrowed it down to 6. Do you think we can get through it?
Great.
Okay. All right. There's a lot I want to ask you in front of a whole room of people. You have been married.
Can I just say
sure.
good morning to the pro-life generation of America? Wow. And how about Kristen Hawkins? Isn't she something? She's just one of our heroes. Karen and I my wife Karen is with me today. We're just so delighted. So many of you were out for the march yesterday. Thank you for coming and standing for life. And let me let you in on a very true statement that is hardly a secret anymore. Thanks to all of you and the great work of Students for Life. Life is winning in America every day. Never doubt it.
That's right. They are. All right. Are you ready for me to grill you?
I'm hoping.
Okay. These are going to be hard. I'm going to start out the hardest. Mr. Vice President, you've been married to your wife, Karen, for almost 40 years. To the single folks, and there's quite a few in the crowd, what would you tell them was the key to your marital success of finding such an amazing spouse for life and raising such exceptional children?
Well, marry up. I mean, other than putting my faith in Jesus Christ, the second most important decision I ever made was when I followed Karen Whitaker out the back of a church one day, and 18 months later, I walked her out the front of the church. And could you give her a round of applause? She is an incredible pro-life leader in America and was the best second lady we've ever had. Thank you all. No, I would tell you one thing. I would say, and my daughter and I just wrote a little book together entitled Go Home for Dinner. For those of you that are going to be in this movement all your lives, is when you put your faith in your family first, you can change the world. I really believe it with all my heart. So my advice to these young people in the room is talk faith first. It's one of the best things we did on our very first date was, after I'd made that decision when I was in college, put my faith in Christ, I didn't always bring it up first when I met attractive young women. But I'd resolved myself, as I wrote in that book, that the next time I sat down with someone that I thought just might be the one, the first thing I'd do is talk about the importance of my faith, what my values are. And we did that from day one, and it poured a foundation in our life that's brought us 38 years and counting, and we couldn't be more blessed. So that's my advice.
It's beautiful. I often get asked about you because the word's gotten out that I like you just a little bit. They might follow me on social media. And people always ask, what's he like in real life? And my standard answer always is, judge someone by their family. And you have an exceptional family.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
That's how you know the real deal in Washington, D.C. No offense, I've met a lot of political leaders over the years.
So have I.
Oh, gosh. Okay. The comedian's coming out. All right. So here's another hard one. How should the pro-life generation think about voting even if it comes to maybe voting for a GOP candidate for president, for Senate, or state legislative office that you may not even really like or appreciate some of the tweets or something like that?
Well, look, we have primaries. We sort them out at every level. But after the primary is over, you vote pro-life. And you go get behind men and women that are going to stand for the right to life. I think the cause of life is the calling of our time. I mean, when the Dobbs decision came down, it was extraordinary. Some 50 years of heartbreak, 50 years of loss, 62 million lives lost. And yet because of the persistence and the faith of many of the people gathered in this room with hair the same color as me, we sent Roe versus Wade to the ash heap of history. But it wasn't the end of the fight, it was the end of the beginning.
Yep.
And I really do believe that from this point forward, every single one of us has to resolve that we are going to work every day to elect men and women to every office in the land until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law. That's what it'll take.
That's right. That's right. And sign up at Students for Life Action's table to help do that this fall. Okay. In your view, now I have a list, but this is what I do at 2 in the morning, I make lists. What is the first things a pro-life president should do if elected in 2024 as soon as they come back from inauguration? Like that day, first time sitting down at the Resolute desk.
I think that our new president should direct the new attorney general to suspend all efforts to harass pro-life activists in America for standing for the sanctity of life. And then, frankly, I think they should pull the abortion pill off the market and demand that the law is properly enforced. I mean, and the foundation I created has been involved in this. Students for Life has as well. I mean, under the Obama administration, that abortion pill was approved by end running the process that exists in the FDA to protect the health and well-being of the American people. And I believe those are two urgent causes, and I think we ought to step forward and make that happen on day one.
Like it. Let's sign a letter and demand it.
Okay.
All right. I'm holding you to it. All right. So every time you speak, Mr. Pence, we always hear you talk about adoption. I know it's very near and dear to you and Karen's heart. I think one of the biggest issues that we hear often when the issue of adoption comes up is the backlog. Millions of parents waiting to adopt, yet 1 million preborn children aborted every year. How can we encourage adoption in both the law and our communities to really transform that movement?
Well, look, I believe there is no unwanted child in America. The reality is, and we were one of those families. Karen and I struggled for more than 5 years to get our family started with what gets called unexplained infertility. We went through a recurring cycle of hope and disappointment, and we made the decision to put our names in for adoption. And when the time came along, we got a phone call that a young woman who was expecting had put us on her list. And it was right about that time that, after years of hoping and praying, we learned that Karen had become pregnant. Now, we were ready to have our family grow through the birth of a child and also through forever family and adoption. But we prayed about it, and we had one question for the attorney involved. We said, is the other family that's an option for this young lady? Are they clinically infertile? Are they unable to have children? And when they came back to us and said they were, then we didn't want to stand in the way. We wanted to trust the Lord for Karen's pregnancy to go to term, and we wanted to trust the Lord. But we opened our hearts to adoption. And I know there are millions of families across the country who every day hope and pray to be able to open their home. But what we need to do, and we sought to do it when I was governor of Indiana, we have got to make adoption more affordable for more American families. The average adoption today costs some $70,000. That's more than the average income of American families. And I'm someone who believes that in this country today, that for families that are willing to open their hearts and open their homes to a forever family, we ought to literally reduce the cost of adoption using the tax code and tax credits to virtually nothing. And I really do believe that one of the miracles that I observed was there was roughly every year, like you said, Kristen, there was almost the same number of people that reported infertility in the country as there were adoptions over the last half century. And that's why I say there's no unwanted child in America. There's a family out there that wants to love and raise that little one. We've got to do a better job as a nation to make that possible.
I'm asking this one for all you on campus who've heard this before. A piece of pushback we often get from the pro-abortion side is that it's too hard to take care of children. Now, we know Bidenomics has ruined this nation's a great economy that you and President Trump helped to bolster. This has exacerbated the costs of child care, diapers, children's clothes, other necessities. I mean, the president didn't even know a smoothie was $6. I don't even know where he got a smoothie for $6 the other day. I was shocked. What are some policy prescriptions or things that you could think that conservatives should start thinking about implementing in our states to solve these problems that we have?
Well, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to elect a Republican president and a Republican Congress in 2024, because the tax cuts that we put into effect largely go away at the end of 2025. I mean, it was a budgeting process that we had to use to pass them with 51 votes in the Senate. And you need to understand that if you think the economy is rough now, that there could be, if there's a Democrat administration to follow this Democrat administration, particularly led by this outfit, taxes are going to go up and the economy is going to continue to struggle. And so I think first and foremost, you just advance the policies that created a booming economy under our administration. But the other thing is, I think, and I'm really proud of my old colleagues in the Congress, in the House yesterday, I think we've got to make sure that expectant mothers on college campuses have their rights protected and they can pursue their education with a student's Bill of Rights. I want to see the Senate take it up.
Wasn't it outrageous that 0 Democrats voted for our bill?
It's, well, outrageous, but not surprising.
I know. We're jaded. We've been here too long.
Look, but to me, it's an idea whose time has come, and I want to commend Congresswoman Hinson and Senator Rubio for advancing the cause. It's, education is the key to the future for young people, and the fact that you are choosing life should not be a barrier to you pursuing that education on any campus in America.
That's right. Thank you. Is there anything else, or you want me to ask you the hardest question we have left?
Oh.
I'll give you. Are you scared? No. Okay.
A little bit.
Okay, no. Okay, so Mr. Vice President, what's something that people don't know about you, but you wish that they really did?
You know, the highest title I'll ever hold is DAD. You started out talking about our kids, and we've been blessed in our lives. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I got to be governor of my home state. I got to be your vice president for 4 years, the greatest privilege of my life. But nothing will compare to the privilege of being married to that woman and raising 3 incredible kids, seeing them marry 3 wonderful people. And what are the odds, after everything that we've been blessed with in our life, that we would actually be the grandparents of the 3 most beautiful granddaughters ever born in the history of the world? I mean, just think about it, statistically. But that's my one word to all of you all, and I know you've got a tremendous program today, and I'm honored to be a part of your Saturday morning. I really am. I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to come by and say thank you. Thank you for your inspiring example. Thank you for loving the most vulnerable among us. I really do believe this pro-life generation will see the day when we do restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law in every state in America. I don't know if I'll be there to see it, but I know it's coming every bit as much as I knew we'd overturn Roe versus Wade. From early on, I had a sense of that. I knew it in my heart of hearts, just like the Dred Scott decision before it. I knew the heart of the American people would one day turn back to life. And I want you all to know, for all the kindness that Kristen and others expressed to me for aspects of our career, it was you all that did it. It was your prayers. It was your perseverance. It was your faith that carried us to this new beginning for life. And as you go forward, I just encourage you to attend to those things that matter most as you stay in the cause of life. Build families that will inspire others to do likewise. Build on a foundation of faith, because I truly do believe it'll be the strong families in America, it'll be the faith in the American people that will lead us to a day where all life, born and unborn, is cherished in America again. So thank you for your leadership. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you so much. We love you. We love you. You did great. Mark, want to get...
Wonderful. Everyone, let's just thank Vice President Pence, also former governor, for all of his hard work. Great job. And Kristen, too. And Kristen, too, for those questions. Listen, how inspiring is it, guys, to see both a strong woman and a strong man fight for life? I just have to say, we are doing a really good job empowering the next generation of young men. I want to honor that. You guys are in a culture right now that hears from the other side that because you don't have a uterus, you shouldn't have an opinion on abortion. But then they say that you can get pregnant if you don't have a uterus. So, stand strong. Their logic falls apart. And really, yes, I think, women leading this is so important. But we need you guys to protect the innocent. I say this as someone whose own dad is post-abortive and hadn't opened up about it until I got active in the movement. And to see the pain in his eyes after decades, for him to now be able to talk about it. That in the work he does as a youth pastor in New Jersey, when a guy says, I think I got a girl pregnant, he's like, listen, let me tell you what happened when I went and they said it was a clump of cells and we believed them and it was a lie, and he still thinks about it. Your presence as a man in that woman's life is the number one indicator of whether she will choose life or not. So as a mom, as a friend, as your sister, big sis, I will say, wait till you find the right one, get married, and then have kids. And all the parents said amen. But listen, moms, dads, parents, grandparents listening, if it should happen an unplanned pregnancy in your house, they better know that it's okay to choose life in your house. So no more saying to your boys, if you get a girl pregnant, I'm gonna cut it off. Don't say that. Say, come tell me first and we'll make a plan. Well, we can figure anything out, okay? Promise me? Promise. All right. It's my joy to introduce our next speaker, a great example of a young man who has taken a stance for truth with a lot of love, a lot of logic and compassion, and also a lot of humor, which we really need. Because it's really fun to make fun of the other side. It's great. I like to do it. You like to do it. He likes to do it. So if you've been on social media at all, you've seen his face from his street videos with PragerU, his fearless engagement in confronting our culture, or maybe you've read his national bestseller, How to Win Friends and Influence Enemies. Please help me welcome to the stage Will Witt.
Hello, everyone. Woo! Wow. This is really incredible. Man, I'm so excited to be here in our nation's capital. Usually when I'm doing speeches and I'm talking about D.C., and I lived in California, I usually just said D.C. is L.A. but for ugly people, but you guys are all so beautiful. It doesn't really make sense here. But I'm very excited to be here, and this is my first, I guess you could say, big pro-life summit that I've ever done. So, man, it's been a change in my life for sure. I got my start in the pro-life movement about 8 years ago when I was still in college. This is back in Colorado. And I would go on my campus. I wasn't involved in any sort of organization or anything like that. And the people who cheered for Colorado, don't cheer for Colorado right now. It's not the best place. But I would go on my campus and I would just go and debate kids about abortion. I would bring pictures of abortions and videos and things like that I would play on my laptop, and I would have kids come up to me on my campus and I'd just debate them about the facts about why abortion is evil, why it is wrong. These are the kind of things that we have to do. And these people, they'd come up to me and they'd scream at me and yell at me and tell me how horrible I am. They'd yell expletives at me, but I didn't care. Who cares if these people are yelling at me or they judge me or they think I'm some sort of extremist? If you know that the truth is objective and that abortion is objectively evil, then why does it matter what material things you gain in this world and what other people think about you for the opinions and the facts that you have about it? That is the issue. These people who come up and yell at you for the things that you believe in or comment on social media when you say that you're pro-life and talk about these things, these people love chaos. That is the left. The left is inherently chaotic at its core. You have Genesis 1:1, God created the heavens and the earth. In this moment, God didn't just create rocks and the air and the material things that we see. He created order. He created order in this moment. This is why the left, this is why these pro-choicers, this is why they hate God. Because God represents order in the world, whereas they love chaos. Talking even about abortion, just normally about abortion, is chaos. And you have these people who come and say abortion, quote unquote, abortion after birth is okay. There is no other thing to describe that other than chaos. And what are we as Republicans and conservatives doing about this and actually trying to get this fixed? In 2016, we had the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Don't even think about getting abortion outlawed. We couldn't even get Planned Parenthood defunded. Why are we relying on these political leaders to fix these issues for us when we won't actually go out there and try and fix these things ourselves? We have gotten so used to making these different terms like 15 weeks or heartbeat bill and these kinds of things. But if God's law is perfect and he says, do not murder, and we know that the life inside of a womb is a life and should be protected underneath God's law, then why are we ever trying to capitulate to the people who want to find some sort of common ground on these issues? There is no common ground with evil. Right? You don't find common ground with evil because as soon as you find common ground with evil, what are you doing? You are sacrificing the truth. We cannot sacrifice the truth. All this is just political football about talking about these different kinds of standards and issues when it comes to being pro-life. But if you are unequivocally pro-life, then you cannot find any sort of common ground with evil. If the devil walked in here right now and sat down next to you, what would you do? Would you welcome him in? Would you talk to him? Would you offer him some coffee? No, of course not. He's the devil. You would shun him from this hall. But for some reason, when we see evil right in front of us, when it comes to the act of abortion, we say, okay, we'll find some common ground. We'll do 15 weeks. We'll do whatever it is and talk to people about it and say that that's good enough. That is no longer good enough. We're always going around and we're looking at the world around us and we're saying, you know, when will the pro-life movement change? When will politics change? When will Joe Biden change? When will our community change? But we're never actually looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, when will I change? When will I be the person to stand up for the things that I really believe in, the things that I know to be true? So many of us are so scared. The one clap, thank you. Yeah. This person's hearing the message, good. Okay, good. There we go. Thank you. We are absolutely terrified of the things that people are going to think about us. No one here wants to be called an extremist, have people who are their friends, their family, at their university, their workplace, come and say, oh, you're unequivocally pro-life? You're an extremist. You're one of these Nazi people. You're crazy. This happens every single day. I mean, the things that people say about me online, you guys wouldn't believe because I stand up for life and all these types of issues. But that is okay. That is okay. In Exodus, when the Pharaoh went up to the female Israelites and said, if there are any males born among you, cast them into the Nile. What did the female Israelites say? They said, we fear God. They feared God more than what the Pharaoh was going to do to them, what he was going to say about them. And that is the type of mentality that all of us have to live with, that we fear God more than we fear the opinions of other people. Because the reason why we are losing in this fight and that we still have abortion all over America is because we do not fear God as much as we fear the opinions of other people. You know, and I hear people talking about it all the time. They say it's really hard. They say it's so hard, it's so difficult. People are going to hate me for what I believe in. People are going to judge me for what I believe in and standing up for the truth. But that's okay. And also, it's supposed to be hard. No one said it's going to be easy. You know, you hear these people talking about, oh, I'm complaining, it's so difficult for me, it's so difficult for me. God said you will have trials and tribulations. Jesus said this. Your life will be difficult, and you have to call out evil where you see it. It is not supposed to be easy. I mean, I've gone all over the country, spoken hundreds of universities, talked to thousands of students, and I'll ask them about their faith or about being pro-life, and they say, yeah, I guess I'm kind of pro-life, you know, maybe, you know, this sort of thing could work out, or I'm kind of Christian, but I don't really talk about it. You guys know that around the world, there are people who are dying for their faith. We just had Christmas right now. In some places in the world, they're not allowed to celebrate Christmas. In China, they have these underground churches all around the country so that they can practice freely. And then Christians are sent to these concentration camps in China where they are tortured and beaten and told to renounce their faith. And if they do not renounce their faith, they will be killed. And what do these people do? They don't renounce their faith, and they are killed by the CCP. You go to Indonesia and you have pastors whose heads are cut off and put on spikes outside. Getting off these boats. There we go. There we go. These young men are peeing their pants getting off these boats. They are frightened. But what do? They got off those boats anyway. And they took that beach. Do you think that these young men had a lot of hope? I don't think so. But they took it anyway. If these young men can die for my right to live, then I have to live fighting for everything that they died for, right? Even when it feels like there is no hope, even when it feels like the entire world is against you, everyone is against you and your classmates and even your family and your best friends, they don't agree with you, it is about the one truth, the objective truth Abortion is evil at any stage. And if we are going to change this, it is up to all of us to never sacrifice on that truth for the opinions of others or for likes. Because the only way that we win is to actually go out with the intention of winning. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, he's not done. You done?
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Everyone give Will a round of applause. He's headed off to catch a flight. I know you all want to talk to him. Thank you. That was great. And sorry, Will, about the audio. You should have seen him freaking out back there. They fixed it. Now listen, guys. As the famous saying goes, those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it. How many here in this room have been homeschooled? Okay. Okay. Did you guys know that quote? Okay. I have hope that maybe you guys are learning real history. Who went to public school like me or is going to public school? Okay. Woo! I love you. You can hang, but we probably don't know our history. So, you need to do a little extra work on that one, okay? It's very important. Those who don't know it are doomed to repeat it. And the next man who's going to speak is dedicated to ensuring that we do not repeat the worst parts of our history in treating people as less than human. He has done the heavy lifting in making that history make sense and helping to shape academia and policy. He is the president of the Heritage Foundation, which is the world's leading think tank for policy impact. He's leading a charge in preserving family. And how many of you in here know what Davos is and the World Economic Forum? I wasn't sure. Okay, that's okay. That's good. Some of you do know. Okay, well, he's my new favorite person because you can go look up online because Dr. Kevin Roberts just gave the most polite FU to the global elites at Davos this week. He did. He probably won't tell you himself, but I watched it and he said politely, "You are all the problem." So give him, a legend, a round of applause as he joins our stage. Let's go. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll get that troublesome microphone out of the way. Look, thanks for inviting me to be here. What a tremendous program. And how about a round of applause for Allison, Kristen, everyone at Students for Life. Most of all, from this old history teacher, thank you for being the Students for Life. Round of applause for you. I'm in a candid mood this week, so I'm going to be candid with you. Just got back from Switzerland, a place I never thought I would dread going. In the battle for the soul and future of our nation, there's no more important fight, as you know, than the right to life. And there's no organization more important to winning that fight than yours. Today's Students for Life are tomorrow's parents for life, teachers for life, workers and entrepreneurs and doctors for life. And yes, think about this, legislators, governors, congressmen, and even presidents for life. Maybe even the one singing now. As the dad of 4, I love that sound. We're going to need them. We're going to need all of you, for we meet today amid a pro-abortion media narrative of smug triumphalism. You've heard the story. Less than 2 years after the Supreme Court overturned Roe, the abortion industrial complex is celebrating an unprecedented political winning streak. Across the country, pro-life bills have failed. Abortion referenda have passed. Democrat leaders are crowing, while too many Republican leaders are cowering from the fight. The pro-life movement in general, and Washington Republicans in particular, were caught flat-footed by Dobbs. Our losses since, especially in red states like Kentucky, Ohio, Montana, and Kansas, have been painful. And like it or not, despite a handful of brave stalwarts, the GOP remains a fickle ally in the fight for the unborn. If it were up to the Republican establishment, the pro-life movement would simply go away. Thank God, it's not up to them. It's up to you. Long before the Dobbs decision, Students for Life understood that the fight for the unborn was generational. Like every great moral crusade, victory in the defense of unborn children and their mothers will be measured in decades, not mere election cycles. And just like America's other decisive battles for freedom, against segregation, against totalitarianism, against slavery, the fight for life is first and foremost spiritual. That's what I want to talk to you about this morning. If you've seen the schedule for today's summit, you know it's saturated with practical and tactical advice. That's why you're here, to learn those important practical skills that will help you defend the unborn through democratic advocacy. But as important as those resources are, ultimately, the fight for human dignity and freedom, this fight for the inalienable rights of every human soul, transcends politics. We're not fighting merely against a policy or a party, and we're certainly not fighting against our opponents on the other side, all of whom we are called to love and pray for. Remembering that reminds us that instead we are in a fight against evil itself. St. Paul's reminder to the Ephesians is timely and timeless. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, he wrote, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. This is an uncomfortable truth, I know. But set aside the talking points and the legalisms and ask yourself, what is abortion? It's the contract killing of defenseless children by white-collar professionals for profit. It's the invasion of the womb by instruments of torture and mutilation. It's the ultimate treason, man's betrayal of a mother, her child, and the natural and supernatural bonds between them. In Genesis, God, quote, put enmity between the serpent and the woman, between its offspring and hers. In abortion, the serpent puts enmity between the woman and her offspring, and the most powerful men in the world call this progress. For true evil, spiritual evil, is never satisfied with its own success. Pride depends on degrading others. Unlike the agnostic who's clouded by doubt, or the atheist blinded by hatred, the devil himself knows firsthand he cannot deny or replace God. Old Screwtape, as you know, learned long ago that the surest path to corrupting the souls of the strong is denying the humanity of the weak. This, rather than the comparable body counts, is the evil that underlies mankind's greatest horrors. Every slave auction, every lynching, every concentration camp, every abortion mill, every pogrom, every terrorist bombing, from the Middle East to Kermit Gosnell, from Herod to Hitler to Hamas, has been justified on the same inhuman pretense that the victims aren't really people. That human dignity is not universal, not inherent to our nature, but contingent on the convenience to the powerful. And the butcher's bill of history is chillingly clear. Once a society deems certain individuals not fully human, it soon treats them as if they weren't human at all. And it never stops with one group. Consider the telling example of the pigs on George Orwell's Animal Farm, who declared, "Some animals are more equal than others." Is it any surprise that the same party of death celebrating violence in the womb also justifies and even cheers the surgical mutilation of children, the euthanizing of the depressed, the persecution of parents and churchgoers, even a genocidal war to exterminate the Jewish people. Make no mistake, this idea of human inequality, that some people count and some people don't, doesn't come from the media or the government or the elite or the left or even Planned Parenthood. It comes straight from hell. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. God bless the Dobbs majority, and the men and women who fought for decades to put them there. But they would be the first to tell you, we can't defeat evil with court orders. The only weapon powerful enough to do that is love, active love. Building a culture of life means rebuilding a culture of love in our communities, across our nation, and around the world. This is not a project of just political activism, as important as that is, but of relentless spiritual warfare. Generation Life is not only something young Americans can create, it's something you must become. No party or president will build a culture of life for us. We have to do that all the time, every day, in everything we do, through prayer, scripture, and devotion. Through fellowship and vocation, in the heroic spiritual adventure of falling in love, getting married, and yes, having lots of kids. To paraphrase St. Francis of Assisi, fight for life at all times. When necessary, use words. Nor can this work be reactive, simply responding to the outrages of the party of death. On the contrary, we need to build a culture of life so vibrant that the outnumbered party of death has to respond to us. Generation Life needs to transcend the abortion debate and carry its love for the good, the beautiful, and the true into every nook and cranny of our society. Don't wait. Act. Act like 15-year-old Kristen Hawkins, who sought out the Crisis Pregnancy Center in her hometown and volunteered, who in her high school and then her college lacked a pro-life student group, started one, who transformed Students for Life from a small coalition of campus organizations to a culture-shaping crusade that has touched the lives of millions of Americans. This is what Generation Life can look like and must. Today, there are 4,000 crisis pregnancy centers in America. Generation Life can create 10,000, including one on every college campus in this country. Today, we bristle against a popular culture that degrades women, children, and families. Generation Life can lead a renaissance of arts and entertainment that celebrate and promote human dignity. So as I close here, to those of you in college, yes, bring pro-life speakers to your campus. But more importantly, be the pro-life speakers on your campus. Suffuse the world around you with your own love of life in all its forms. To fight evil, we must do good. And to do good, we must be good. Let pundits and politicians worry about strategies and tactics. You can aim higher. Don't wait for leaders to make pro-life policy making possible. Be the leaders in your classrooms, in your campuses, in your families and social circles, in your careers, and all across American culture to make pro-life policy making inevitable. In this spiritual war for our children and for our very souls, we need you, Generation Life, to be more than our hope for the future. Starting right now, we need you to be the heroes of the present. May God prosper the work of your hands. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. See why we really like him? He's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Our next guest is no stranger to the sacrifice and courage you need to be an effective voice for life. She courageously left Planned Parenthood and exposed Planned Parenthood, and through her work has empowered over, guess how many abortion workers have left after she left? Guess how many? 600 more. 600. 600 workers have left the abortion industry through her work with And Then There Were None. She also started Pro-Love Ministries to innovate and grow the pro-life movement as well. So please welcome icon Abby Johnson to the stage. Go get her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always such an honor to be here. Always such an honor to be here with so many young people. Where are my high school students at in here? All right, where are my college kids? I think high schoolers need a redo. Where are the high schoolers at? Awesome. Okay, now where are the old people? I love it. I think the boomers win. Oh man, so awesome to be with all of you guys. Oh man, I don't have they didn't give me a timer or anything. Shoot. Okay. Tina, you're gonna have to get, oh no, it's right there. Okay, good, okay. Woo, okay, that's good. Okay, listen. The number one threat right now to young women, to women who are considering an abortion, is a medication abortion pill. Why? Because you can get it anywhere, at any time. I live in the great state of Texas, the great Republic of Texas, the United States of Texas, and you know, everybody's so excited because after Roe fell, there were quite a few states that had trigger bans in place, and so abortion was automatically, technically illegal. But what can you access in those states? The abortion pill. Right now, if I wanted to on my phone, I could very easily go to over 70 websites and I could access the abortion pill for a little over $100. In fact, even if I wasn't pregnant, which I'm not, I don't even have the ability to get pregnant, I could go to one of those websites right now, even though I'm not pregnant. And I could, in a preventative sense, get the abortion pills just to have them in my cabinet if I wanted to, just in case I got pregnant. Just in case I knew someone that got pregnant. Guys, this creates a safe haven for who? Abusers. For sex traffickers. For boyfriends who want to slip these medications into their girlfriend's drinks. This is not the country that we want. This is not the America that we want. So we have started a campaign at And Then There Were None, our former abortion clinic worker ministry, called Little Pills That Kill. Because the abortion pill does kill. And it doesn't just kill the unborn child in the womb. It also kills women. We know of a few dozen women, just the ones that we know of, that have died from these medication abortion pills. And we have what we believe are the Achilles heel of the abortion industry, and that is these workers who have left. They're coming out, they're telling their stories, they're talking about the egregious things that are happening inside of these abortion facilities. They're exposing them. They're putting a face to what's happening inside of these clinics. And they're telling it to the public. And I just want you to know that because of these workers, because of their courageous work with state officials, federal officials, local officials, they have been able to close down 47 abortion facilities. And counting, because we in the pro-life movement are not going to stop fighting until every single abortion facility is shuttered. Their doors are closed. And we expose these facilities for who they are. They are slaughterhouses of the unborn. So we have some videos on our website. We're going to show 2 of those videos now. These are firsthand testimonies of former abortion clinic workers sharing their own experiences with medication abortion.
When I worked at an abortion facility in Virginia, I would give abortion pills to patients. They would report back that they bled for weeks, intense pain, cramping, incomplete abortions, mental distress, infections, blood clots, and some would even be afraid that they were dying. Patients would routinely tell me that their experience was more intense than we told them it would be. But I have my own story as well. Let me say this. My experience with abortion pills was the most horrifying experience. It was so traumatic that I had to move from my apartment because I did not want to return and re-experience that trauma and pain every single day. Anyone that's telling you abortion pills are not a big deal is just lying to you.
We would actually give the first pill to the patient in this little cubicle kind of area. And that should have been a doctor. And I would explain to her that bleeding would occur. It wouldn't be nothing more than a period. So that's what I was led to believe also, that it was just going to be, kind of like just a period, a light period. It's early in the pregnancy, so it shouldn't be like a surgical procedure. But I felt that it was wrong for me administering it because I'm not a medical doctor.
It was this one particular lady that, again, alone and scared, coming in there trusting, and they just pushed her off just like you're at a Walmart or something, purchasing something. Here, take this, you'll be okay. Don't worry about anything. She didn't take too well to the medication, and she was bleeding out.
So that's our newest campaign. We want you to go to the website, share it. We have information in our booth, at our number 9 booth. Really quickly, I want to tell you this. Sharing the truth is the most loving thing you can do. Telling the truth is the most loving thing you can do, especially to women who are in crisis. Telling them that we love you, abortion is not going to help you, abortion is not going to solve your crisis. But we in the pro-life movement can help you solve that crisis through love, through action, through accompaniment, That is how we can help you solve this crisis. That is love. That is love in action. Love is a verb. And we want to show women what that love looks like. And it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what your parents believe. It doesn't matter what your family believes. It doesn't matter how you've grown up. You can be pro-life. You can be pro-life boldly. You can take that stance everywhere you go. My daughter Grace grew up for the first few years of her life pretty much entering and exiting an abortion clinic day in and day out. She grew up, running around the halls of an abortion clinic. The first people she was around were the people that I worked with at an abortion clinic. She would play inside the recovery room where we would have women lay in these recliners, sometimes bleed out because we had perforated their uterus. She would play in those chairs. She would play with the curtains that we had separating the chairs from one another. But she's here today at the March for Life. She's here with her whole high school. I want her to stand up. Grace, stand up. I would put my 17-year-old daughter up against any pro-abort, anywhere, anytime, and she could whoop them in a debate. So let that be a lesson. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter who your family is. It doesn't matter what they believe. The grace of God can wipe free any stain that's in your family, anything that you have done. God wants better for you. God wants better for your family. God can erase anything that we've done because God loves life and God loves you. Don't ever deny your faith. Don't ever deny who God has created you to be. Don't ever deny the gospel of life. Amen. God bless you.
Woo! So beautiful. Thank you, Abby. What a powerful message and good reminder for all of us. Between that story, I feel like in Kristen's story about the Mercer family name being passed on, it's really a good reminder that God can use all things for good, even if we've messed up in the past. All right, guys, the coffee break is just upon us. Be mindful, we only have 30 minutes, okay? Watch the time. Coffee is being served in the Constitution foyer just upstairs on level 3B. The exhibit booths will also be open during the break, so connect with sponsors, sign up for emails, follow them on social, get your pics and your merch, and we'll be returning with our first speaker at 11:35. So we'll be here. I'll see you then. Thank you.